Microphone here. Nice. YouTube actually worked relatively fast this time. Cool. All right, so as usual, I'm also live on YouTube, and the link is in my bio on Instagram. So we'll start going through things here. Really quick, does anybody have any questions? Anything you want me to cover before we get started going through the analysis today? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you want to see my charts, I'll try to call out the levels and stuff that I'm watching on Instagram, but if you want to actually see my screen, see my charts, hop over on the YouTube live stream, which the link is in my bio. I don't see anybody on the YouTube live stream yet. Couple people. But I'm going to jump into it because we only got a couple minutes till the open now. Join if you want on YouTube. That's where I'll be sharing my screens and staying on for a little longer. I'll try to flip my camera around here at the end on Instagram, but I'm not gonna be able to hold that the whole time. So kind of consolidated overnight here on ES. Pretty much all I'm going over is ES S&P 500 futures. That's the only thing that I trade. Occasionally intraday, I'll look at key levels and things that come up on VX and NQ, but primarily I get all the information that I need to know from the S&P 500 because kind of developed my own specialty in reading the price action, reading the order flow, and reading the market context on that, and really don't need to pull in too many other things. But so I'll start out on the higher time frames here, and we'll just kind of go through blank charts so you guys can see. One thing that I like to do is I always like to go through blank charts in the mornings and kind of develop my initial analysis from blank charts where I don't have any prior drawings or prior things that I thought the market might do. And then I'll kind of transpose those things onto my drawing set for levels that I want to watch for my actual intraday trading. That's just kind of my own process. That's what works for me. That's what I do. So looking at the charts here on the daily, you can see we've been on pretty much straight up uptrend. We had a couple dips down over the last couple weeks here, and really all it's been is a bear trap every time. That's kind of trapped shorts at the lows and squeezed higher. So no reason to fight that, but at the same time, we are coming into this major area of supply that you can see on the daily chart. The market has dropped like 1,000 points from the last time we tested this area up here. So yeah, it's rallying back, but I'm going to cautiously be watching that and see what develops here. We also have FOMC rate decision this week, so extremely important to be mindful of that. The market can be pretty thin and choppy until after that occurs because a lot of participants are sitting out until after that occurs. So it's important to be aware of that. We just had NFP last week, which priced in some craziness, although it wasn't too crazy of an NFP week. But again, we have FOMC rate decision on Wednesday. This morning, we have some high impact news at 9:45 and 10. So I want to be pretty patient. That is the services PMI and manufacturing PMI. So that's important, high impact. Not too much tomorrow. So the next big thing is going to be Wednesday, that FOMC rate decision, which a lot of times I just sit out on those days because it can just be too crazy, but may look for a nice setup after. But yeah, this morning got a little bit of high impact news in about 35 minutes. Is it 9:45 and 10? What is it? Yeah, no, it's all at 35 minutes. So it's all at 10, I guess. Oh no, services PMI 20 minutes. Yeah, so 9:45 and 10 a.m. That's what I thought. All right, so yeah, you can see we've been on a clear uptrend on the S&P over the last 9 or 10 days. I think it's the longest uptrend in days on the S&P in like 20 years, since like 2004. So not trying to fight that, but also cautiously watching because you can see this whole area that just obviously stands out. We had this drop, attempted to rally, trapped bulls, dropped another like 1,000 points from there. And this is the whole area from around like 5,700 up until like really like 5,800, pretty large area of supply. I don't really trade off areas of supply and demand. It's just a key area that I watch, where I watch the order flow. I'm not like just getting short because we're up here at supply. That's not how I trade. but just to be important to be aware of it. And drop down to the 6-hour here, you can see some pretty cleaner structure here. So looking at the 6-hour chart, you can clearly see this whole area. Mark it here really quick. Very, very clear area of supply where the market dropped aggressively off that. So you can see that anybody can mark that out and watch that zone. It's obvious, right? We consolidated here on the 6-hour, so we spent a lot of time accumulating here and then just plunged aggressively. So this is a key area to watch. We've tested kind of the top of that area into this wick. If we do hold, I would expect to go back and test the top of this area. That's just a very obvious area of liquidity. So especially now we've kind of double topped there right around 57.20. If we look at my charts, 57.20, I think specifically is a level that I have been watching. Where is it? Yeah, 57.20 specifically. You can see it was this low that broke, and then we popped back into it. It was this high here, and now we've rejected it again. So 57.20 is a very obvious key level right there to watch, as well as like this whole zone. But I don't like marking zones so much because it's just too much of a distraction. Like it's just an area that I'll keep in mind, but I can't really watch this whole zone for how I trade. That's like a 100-point zone. So we are kind of basing back in this area of demand. You can see on the 6-hour. I'm gonna get rid of this now. You guys can clearly see that area. So you can see here, we are kind of basing off this demand that formed. We had this kind of base and then rally on Friday that closed all the way up here in the high. We trickled all the way back down. So this is also a key area that I'm watching right here at these lows. So let's see here, pull up my intraday trading. I'm really watching this overnight range where we've kind of consolidated here between 56.80 and 56.55. You can clearly see, I marked this out on like a 1-hour, I think, or a 15-minute, but you can clearly see it on the 6-hour chart. Like we're on the second 6-hour candle now, just kind of flat, wicks up and wicks down, just like right in that range. So that's a key area that I'm watching. Again, for those of you listening on Instagram that aren't seeing, talking about 56.80 to 56.55 on the S&P, that's a key area that I'm watching this morning. I really don't want to get caught up in trades in the middle of that range. I want to be kind of cautious. Here, I'll drop down to the 1-hour now. So inside the middle of this range, which you can kind of see from the 6-hour level that I marked, where that 6-hour level right here came from this. It was this high. We dropped down, we bounced and ripped aggressively after it, and then you can see we held it on pullbacks. So that's kind of a key 6-hour level that I'm gauging, and it's also like square in the middle of this overnight range. So that's important to watch. Let's see here. My initial game plan, I'll just go over it really quick because I'm about to start looking for trades here. But my initial game plan is just to, one, stay patient. We have that 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m. news. So stay patient until after that. Sorry, let me get this down. Want to stay very patient until after that. And then after that, if we can break above this 69 level here, 56.69, and hold it on pullbacks, ideally before taking out this overnight high, then I would look to long pullbacks, targeting the overnight high and then targeting Friday's close here around 5,700. And I don't want to be a first seller up here. So if sellers show they are actually strong and do reject this, and we break below the overnight lows, below 56.55, and then we fail on rallies, then I would look to take that short, targeting probably this 56.35s. And then below that, 5,600, which is Thursday's lows. Other than that, I don't want to get chopped up here in the middle of this, especially before news. We're like dead center in a consolidation range. And we got news, high impact news coming out in like 15 minutes. So that's kind of a recipe to get chopped up here in the middle. So be cautious of that. I'm also watching for a fake out above this overnight high that rejects, and I'm watching for a fake out below this overnight low that rejects. So if we get a fake out and strong absorption, then I might take that long targeting maybe the middle of that range around 56.69. And if we get a fake out over this 56.80 where I see a lot of absorption, I might take that short targeting that 56.69, just kind of a mean reversion after a failed breakout of consolidation. All right, I'm going to drop on Instagram here. I'm going to stay live on YouTube where I can share my charts and everything. So I highly recommend if you want to just watch and learn. I'm not sharing trades for the purpose of copying trades. So that's not what I do here. But if you want to kind of join me in this session for the first like 30 minutes or so here, then hop in on YouTube and feel free to hang out. So we got this news coming up. We're in the middle of consolidation. Be careful today. It's Monday. Don't get chopped up. We got FOMC rate decision this week. It can be thin and choppy ahead of that, so we need to be very cautious. I'd like to take quick scalps. I'm not looking to catch, a huge trending move when we have pending high impact news like we have on Wednesday. All right, that's it on Instagram. I'll stay on live on YouTube. Again, for a couple of you that are left on YouTube, link is in my bio. A couple of you left on Instagram, link is in my bio. If you'd like to find the link over to my YouTube, it's there in my bio. All right, heading out on Instagram. See you guys. All right, get this out of the way here. Yeah, we're kind of opening up here and just kind of chopping up and down. So nothing has really changed on the first few minutes here. And actually, like I was kind of watching out for, it looks pretty thin. Excuse me. All right, so we got 12 minutes till this news coming out. Does anybody have any questions about what I covered in the pre-market analysis? Let me know. Previous low volume days last week have been super tricky to deal with. Yeah, that happens often around NFP weeks and FOMC rate decision weeks, which we have back to back here. So I'm try to be cautious and watch out for fake outs. If you guys saw my game plans on Friday, I'm always looking for kind of like quick scalps in the morning and then get out of there. I'm not looking to, try to catch a big, huge trending move and try to trade late into the day. I'm, trying to be patient and trying to not get chopped up and not get faked out, which can happen a lot on NFP weeks and FOMC weeks. Welcome, Joanna. Glad you made it. So just stay patient. Just watch for good setups. You guys know the game plan. I already shared it. Here, I'll copy and paste it in here. If you guys aren't tracking the TradeZella Discord, I've been sharing my game plans and trade recaps in there this month. They're doing like a 30-day challenge. I think they do it pretty much every month, but I don't always participate. But decided to jump in there this month on the TradeZella Discord and share my trading plans and trade recaps and stuff in there. As part of this like 30-day challenge for the month of May. Oh, all right. Well, you guys will have to check it out in there. It's too long to copy and paste into the chat on this YouTube live stream, and I'm not really gonna break it up into a bunch of little pieces right now. But I think it's free to join the TradeZella Discord. I don't think you have to have TradeZella to be in there. And there's a lot of good free resources and stuff in there. Do I have a Discord? No, I don't have my own Discord right now. I'm in a couple other good Discords. I'm in the Invest to Trade Discord that I participate in. Highly recommend that group. A lot of good training in there. Highly recommend it. And then I also participate a little bit in the TradeZella Discord, which is just like a free community. And then I'm also in the Bookmap Discord. They have a lot of good resources in there. I am a heavy Bookmap user. They have a good Discord as well, and there's a lot of information there. Actually, I haven't looked at the Bookmap Discord in a while. It looks like they've changed it a lot. I don't know what's going on. There's not much in there anymore. There used to be a lot more like chats and everything. Now it's just like help and support and announcements. Maybe they cleaned it up. But I've definitely gone in there before when I've had like issues with Bookmap or how to figure out a setting and stuff. They have a lot of good documentation on their website too. 2 large 100 plus orders at 67. Yeah, I see that. But again, like I said, in the pre-market, we're like square in the middle of a consolidation range that's been going on since 2 a.m. And we have high impact news coming out in 6 minutes now, or 7 minutes, or 8 minutes. Oh, what time is it? 9:37. Yeah. So 8 minutes, 9:45. We got high impact news coming out, and then we got more high impact news coming out at 10 a.m. So be patient, be cautious. It's Monday. Although last Monday took a nice winning trade on the stream, made over $1,000. And but for 3 Mondays in a row before that, during this live stream, I missed good setups and then ended up taking a small loss. So that was really annoying. I try to be patient on Mondays and not get chopped up and stuff like that. And I was like patient enough to miss good trades, and then took some good trades. I mean, I took good trades. I didn't take any trades that I wouldn't take again. But they were lower probability after missing, better opportunity trades. But it was just kind of an unfortunate situation because I don't like to jump in trades in like the first couple minutes of the open on a Monday. And it seemed like those last 3 Mondays before that, there was a nice trade, but it was at a level and stuff. And it literally happened the first couple minutes after the open on a Monday. And if you missed it, there wasn't really another opportunity. So that was just annoying. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Sorry, I didn't realize I have not moved the screen over. I'm still on the charts here. Do you guys want to see Bookmap? Yeah, look at the 15-minute. Nothing about this says I want to get involved in anything here, right? Nothing about that says I want to get involved in a trade in here. But I can move this over to Bookmap if you guys rather watch that. I know usually everyone in there wants to see Bookmap over the charts. I know we can all see the charts, but not everyone has Bookmap. All right, let me move it over 1 second. All right, here we go, Bookmap. You guys already have seen my charts. You already know the levels. You already know the game plan. Nothing really crazy there. Yeah, there's those couple larger orders that popped up. That's not unusual to see before news. Either people, I don't know, hedging a position, or could be a combination of people hedging position, a lot of people speculating in position to catch a news gamble, and also people closing positions maybe that they had overnight and stuff. Get out before this occurs. It may be a dud at 9:45. I really don't never know like which news is gonna react strongly or not. I just look at the economic calendar on Bloomberg, and if it's a high impact, then I just know like PMI news is always high impact. But is it already priced in? I don't know. We're just something to be aware of, and we're gonna watch see what happens. But that combined with the fact that we're in this consolidation range is definitely like making it a no trade zone for me this morning. So we're just watching it. So people always ask me like what time frame that I look at Bookmap. I'm constantly zooming in and out like this to see like levels and areas that stand out to me. I do this all the time, but when I'm looking to like actually get an entry on a trade, it's usually, you see the spacing here is 5 minutes. It's usually around 5 to 2 minutes. Sometimes, depending on what I'm watching, it'll be even as low as this, like a 30-second to 1 minute interval. But I would say like my general, like I'm just watching price action throughout the day is around this 2 minute spacing right here, or maybe 5 minutes like this right here. That's like kind of the spot that I like. And as far as like opening it up and down, I usually like to open it like just enough until you get these lines popping up. I don't like it too like spread out like this. That just like makes it crazy. So I like to keep it condensed, and it also really depends on volatility, like how much price is moving up and down. So I really change that often, just kind of depending on volatility, the pace of the market, and stuff like that. Just comes with experience and years of looking at Bookmap. You'll find like what kind of you like. But if you're just starting with it and you just like a general like time frame to look at, I usually keep it around this 2 minute spacing or 5 minute spacing, which kind of coincides with like intraday charts. I like to watch the 2 minute chart a lot for like just watching price action throughout the day. And then I also like the 5 and 15 minutes. No, I'm not marking that at 67. I have a key level marked at 69, and that reacted really well. So if you're watching the pre-market, I have a key level marked at 56.69, and that is almost the same spot as 67, and that has reacted nicely. Yeah, I haven't seen, I see the 67, I see the orders that have popped up, but it's not quite so significant just yet, especially being just like right in the middle of this range that I'm like gonna mark anything off it. My voice is a little worn out because like I said, I had a birthday party for the kids yesterday and had all the family over, so I feel like I've been talking like all day for like yesterday. So this morning my voice is a little shot. Nothing a little coffee doesn't fix that, right? What are you guys watching? What are you guys trading? Hungover? No, just worn out. Voice is shot from talking to family. I had like 40 people over here at my house, and had that going on all day. Then I had friends from out of town staying at our house for the weekend. So just a busy day, lots of talking. Probably zoom out here a little bit. We got this news coming in 1 minute, so I'm gonna zoom out just to see, this thing might swing a little bit wild here. Would not be surprised at all to just see a fake out of this consolidation zone after the news. We still have more news at 10 a.m. Not much reaction, 9:45. So maybe market's just waiting for that 10 a.m. news. I wouldn't like I wouldn't be trying to take a trade like off 9:45 news, knowing that we have more high impact news coming at 10. The only time I would take a trade between like news events like that is if I saw a reaction like at a really key level, and then just take it for like a quick scalp for a couple minutes, and then I'd probably try to look to be out before the next news release. But so far, nothing burger, just middle of the range, just getting tighter. See it pretty clearly on Bookmap. We were in the middle of this consolidation range, blah, 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 nothing. And then, you know, we had this nice expansion here. Do you guys actually see my mouse on the stream, or do you guys just see Bookmap without my mouse? I'm curious. Like if I move my mouse and point out levels here, do you guys actually see my mouse? Okay, you do see the mouse, cool. So yeah, you can see like obvious just kind of chopping in the middle of this range, 930 open, faked out the high, faked out the low, and just kind of still doing the same thing, just in the middle of this range. Cool, cool. I don't really use the drawing as much on Bookmap, but there are these tools. So when I'm looking at something, I will try to use this really quick to mark what I am watching. So you guys might have just heard that beep. Since this is pretty dead, there's not much going on. I'll share one of my little hacks that I use. I love this little timer. It's just a little desk timer, and it's just a quick little reminder for me. I like reset it every 15 minutes. It just reminds me to check my emotions. How am I feeling? How am I handling? Am I following my trading rules? So if I'm too like zoned in and maybe doing something dumb, it's an immediate like physical beep to kind of jerk me out of it, to remind myself literally every 15 minutes, like, are you following your trading rules? How are your emotions? Are they affecting your trading decisions? Just literally like $10 on Amazon, little desk timer. And it's got this little twisty top thing that you can adjust, and then just click it. I just reset it 15 minutes every time, every few minutes. You can use it for other things too. Like sometimes I'll use it for like study sessions, like, all right, 60 minutes hardcore. Let me work on this until that timer beeps. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I like using it as like a reminder for myself, like every 15 minutes to, you know, follow my training plan, follow my rules. Again, we are just chopping in the middle of a consolidation range that's been going on since 2 a.m. We have more high impact news coming at 10. Don't get fucked up in the middle. You guys, again, you know my trading plan, you know the levels that I'm watching. So until I see something that aligns with that, I'm just sitting out of this. And that 15-minute candle, if you look, that says it all. If you look at the first 15-minute candle this morning, it is like dead flat with a 56 to 60, like a 10-point wick up and down. just dead flat in the middle. That says everything you need to know about this opening range so far. Stay the heck out of it. At least for me. Not telling anybody what to do. Follow your own trading system, follow your own rules. For me and how I trade, stay out of this. Does anybody trade anything other than ES here? You guys looking at NQ or VIX, or what do you guys look at? You know, 9 minutes till more news. So we are just staying patient, active patience. This is something that I was talking about with Dylan. If you guys don't follow Dylan's YouTube, also he posts a lot of good like macro technical analysis. Dylan's Stocks, I think. I don't know what his actual YouTube channel name is, but Dylan from Invest to Trade posts a lot of good macro analysis. But I was talking to him about this concept of patience, and not just patience as in doing nothing, but like actively doing nothing for a purpose. And kind of a concept that I got from the Marines and special operations, but tactical patience is like, you want to wait until you have clear information to take good, concise action with a purpose. So patience is not just necessarily doing nothing. Patience is actively doing nothing and interpreting information for when the right, most opportune moment to strike is. You can Google just tactical patience, and there's a good AI overview of it from the military, or you could Google like Marine Corps tactical patience definition, and it'll probably explain it better than me. But it's a very good concept of doing nothing for a purpose of doing nothing, to gather information, gather intelligence, and to take the precise right action at the right time to have the highest impact. If you're setting an ambush, you don't want to start firing like the first second you see an enemy. You want to wait till the most opportune moment where you can cause the most damage, shock value at the right time. So same thing in the markets. I'm intentionally doing nothing to be patient and see the right opportunity to strike when the odds are in favor, when the key levels are in my favor, when things align. So yeah, patience. Hormozy talks about this a lot too. He says like patience is figuring out what to do in the meantime. So what to do in the meantime is, you could do something completely different to distract yourself. You could study, you could do something else like that. That's like a level 1 good thing to do. A level 2 good thing to do, I would say, is I clearly identify what you are looking for and what is the most opportune moment to strike. And then focus on that and focus on hypothetical scenarios to come up with your game plan about what is that you're looking for and staying patient for. If you're patient but you're just doing nothing and you're like this on the edge of your seat with your mouse on the buy or sell button, you're going to be a lot more likely to take a dumb trade that you shouldn't have taken, because your patience was just doing nothing and you were hyper focused on wanting to do something, where your patience should be sitting back and waiting and having something that you're doing to actively prepare yourself and identify what it is that you need to see to have the correct information that you need to take good trades. End rant. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. We got 5 minutes till news. ES only, ES. Tony, yes, another Bookmap user. Heavy Bookmap user. People ask me all the time, like if I had to pick one because they don't have enough screen real estate, Bookmap or Footprint. I pretty much always say Bookmap because it just visually presents the order flow so well. And especially if you have the DOM Pro, you can really see a lot of the same information very clearly as you would see on a Footprint. I would say the biggest difference between like just straight looking at like a DOM Pro on Bookmap and looking at the Footprint is that you can see the pace of the market a little easier. And you can see like as the market progresses over time, like how the point value that it's moving in the time period. And I don't look at a time period on the Footprint. I look at a range, 5-point range, but it gives you a good sense of the pace of the market, not just on a candle chart of how price is moving. But you can see that on Bookmap as well with the heat map, the bubble map or the bubble chart, and you can see that depth of market, the volume profile, delta, everything on the Bookmap Pro DOM, which is really good. And this is not what I'm talking about, by the way. The DOM Pro is something else. While we're sitting here, I'll show you really quick. For anybody that doesn't have Bookmap, this is what I'm talking about. So what you can't see to the right of my screen, this is what I'm watching. And specifically, I really like to watch the volume profile delta here. That pops up and I can see, you know, the key things that come up. I also look at the session volume profile, but not as much. But yeah, this delta is a really good level, which is what I watch on the Footprint chart. And then also the volume profile sells and buys here. Let's see if it comes up. Volume profile sell, volume profile buy. These are just how many aggressive orders were sold or bought. And then obviously the difference of those is in this column here. And this is pretty much all the information, even more information really than what you see on the Footprint chart. The difference with the Footprint chart is you can just see it with the pace of the market, kind of like a blend of DOM and candle chart. Go back to the regular Bookmap here. Just wanted to show you guys so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm looking at Bookmap and I'm looking at that DOM side by side. Shivering from your cold plunge? Suck it up. I haven't done a cold plunge in a while. I used to do them every morning, but I'll be honest, I've been lazy because I got tired of making ice. I don't have a dedicated cold plunge. So I was just making ice and putting it in the tub and making it, and it was kind of a pain. I should probably do it again though. It did help with like inflammation and stuff I feel from my running. All right, we got news right now. Nice pump to the upside. Probably going to be a fake out, but we'll see. I'm not jumping in it. And I say probably going to be a fake out, not because I'm bearish on the day, just because like that happens so often after news. You know, you see a pump to the upside, fake out, then you see a drop to the downside, fake out, and then you get back before a real move comes later on. I'm not in any trades. I'm gonna reset my timer really quick. My rules timer reminder. So nothing too crazy here. We are kind of pushing to the upside now. We're above that 69 level. We didn't get an instant fake out reversal. My rules timer, I went over that earlier, but it's just a little dust timer that I have. I reset like every 15 minutes. Sometimes I'll expand it longer, but it just kind of pulls my focus out. Like every 15 minutes, it'll go off and remind me to check my rules, check my game plan, make sure I'm following that and not doing something stupid. Yes, I run in the morning, and yes, it helps my energy, focus, everything. Getting a nice pump to the upside here. If we start seeing a good amount of buying on pullbacks now that we're kind of breaking out of this consolidation range above that 56.69, although we're still just now testing that overnight high area that I mentioned to watch around 56.80. So nothing super tradable right now because it blasted straight up on the news and then hasn't pulled back or done anything. So not a ton of large volume. It just kind of came up. Large volume meaning like I don't see a lot of big bubbles on this pump. But we did break, retest, and rally above that 56.69 level right on the news. So like at 9:58, we broke out right above it minutes before the news. We pulled back, and then right on the news, we rallied off that level, and then we're testing that 56.80 level. Show you what I'm talking about. Go to back to my charts here. So yeah, like right here, we broke above that, pulled back, held that like right on the news, right off the news. We shot right into this level. And here we are. Now we're pulling back. We'll see if this pullback holds. We're still in this range that I'm talking about here between this high overnight and this low. So nothing crazy significant just yet for me. I was and am watching for a break and retest over these levels or a fake out at them, but we're still letting it develop right now because I haven't seen anything significant enough to trade. So if we do get a nice little pullback here to that 69 area, we'll see how it holds. I just don't love like this kind of like lower volume pump straight up into there. So there's larger selling on this pullback. See what I'm talking about relative, like see the small bubbles on this bounce here, and then we're seeing like increasingly large dropping back into here. Ideally on a break and retest, you'd want to see large, strong bounce breaking above a level and then like smaller selling retesting it. But it can still work. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking. Let's see what's going here. Retesting that 69 level. Nice bit of selling here. The thing that I don't love about the 69 level is just how it has come like it's become like right in the middle of this consolidation range. We'll see though. I like how this reaction is going on right here. We bounced one, and this is also right at this VWAP area. Seeing orders popping up here. See that? Did you see those orders pop up right there? 300 lots. This is important to watch right here. I'd like to see this as absorption and then it bounce, pretty strong here. But I'm seeing this absorption, then not really getting much buying reaction after. Yeah, see, that's something I would like to see on a long. We bounce once, we double bottom with a lot of absorption, but then right after that, look at these like tiny buying. So I didn't really see like, one thing that I like to see is like a double bottom where we see large selling that's absorbed and then strong buying. You just never saw the strong buying. You saw this absorption and then it's kind of weak buying, and then it plunged through it lower. So I'm staying out of that. And again, like it kind of sucks. Like the 69 level looks pretty good, 56.69 from the price action that developed on Friday, but the problem is like it's like dead in the middle of pretty large like consolidation range now. So we did kind of plunge under it and now we're recapturing above. So I do kind of like that. If we see strong buying above here now and then weaker selling on a pullback, that's nice. Seeing some offers pop up here. Let's see if we get a little pullback that holds and see if these orders here actually fill. Kind of pulled it. Seller's trying here, but now it's kind of holding right here. So let's watch this. That level at 69 right there. Another 300 lot right there. So I might miss this, but I want to see another pullback into it. This whole area right here from 69 to 72 is pretty important. I want one more little pullback into here to take it long. It's pulling. Come on. Give me one little pullback into here. Like 71. Love to see. All right. Taking a stab at it long right there at 73. Yeah, a stop loss at 69 probably. It's going to come sweep me out. Maybe I should have a larger stop loss here. Target break above those 80s. Would like to see a breakout above 80s into Friday's close around 5,700. Yeah, I saw this little order right here and I felt good about it, but I don't like how it's kind of getting stuffed now. If I do get stopped here, I'll take a small stop on it and I'll look to re-enter. That is still reacting here. Did you see that? So right here, we saw this buying right here, this buying right here. We pulled back into it. I should have been a little bit more patient and I should have got in right here. But I saw this buying stepping in right here at 73 and I said, all right, let's just get in. But this was the pullback that I really wanted to enter on. I'm still in it. But I definitely don't want it to pull back below this now. I want to see this bounce here. Nice. Let's go. If we can break out here above like 78, 77, 78, then I'll probably try to pull my stop in to break even. uh, yeah, I don't love that poke your head up there and then pull back so hard. I wanted to see it punch through pretty fast there. Want to see buyers kind of step in a little harder right here. I like the orders, the buying that's coming in, but it needs to get some momentum to carry it higher. Right now, we're seeing the large buying and it's just going nowhere. So I don't love that. We need to see it punch above this area and break out to the upside. Once that structure shifts to the upside like that, I'm going to pull my stop in up. Here we go. So we're seeing that structure shift. I'm going to probably go break even now. I don't want to see this pull back. Give it a little bit of breathing room. I want to see this hold and not sweep out. It's trying to sweep out. Really need to see buyers actually hold this here. I'm still in. All right. Cut it for 2 tick loss right there. I'm going to look to re-enter if it pulls back. I just don't like all this large buying and then we tried to pop and then we just dumped right back down. Like I don't like that. But let's see if it pulls. Maybe it needs to sweep out these lows right here and then move. But I cut it for like a 2 or 3 tick loss here. See if it gets a better reaction. If we come back and sweep these lows, then we see some large absorption, then maybe. But I don't like all this large buying. It didn't break out, and then it just immediately rejected back down. For me, that was a red flag. Just take the trade off. Let's look. Wouldn't I want to fade the top of this range? Maybe if context was different after the news, but we're still kind of maintaining strength here. Part of my game plan was I wanted to see a break and retest hold above 56.69, which is what we're seeing here. All right, let's see if we can get another entry here. It's just kind of middle of the range up and down, which I'm not loving. I wanted to see a little bit cleaner, stronger action on the break and retest above 69. But we're again just like going back to this. Like this was nice when I saw this large buying here, and then we broke above it up here, and then that doesn't look good. Like once we shifted that structure, I wanted to see continuation here, not poke our head right above this high and instantly reject back down. So that's why I took it off for practically break even. I tried to give it a little bit of wiggle room to breathe, and then that larger selling pumped, and I was like, nah. But let's see here, see if we find a re-entry, because we're still not breaking under this 69 area. That was the key area I wanted to see hold. But again, selling is still heavy here, and these pops are not getting really any continuation. So that's why I took the trade off. When I see this much large buying right here, I want to see that defend and actually, move the market, and it just didn't. So it's tough to read now here. We're still seeing larger orders coming up here. So around 74, 73. It's just not super clean now. It's pretty choppy here, which makes me want to maybe just sit out of this setup now and wait for something else. There's my reminder to follow my rules. Yeah, the setup is just a lot less clean now. Initially, the break and retest above that looked good. We had some large 300 lot orders that we saw, but now for like 10, 15 minutes, we've like chopped up and down sideways. So something is brewing for sure here. and I want to be in it, but I also don't want to get chopped up on some dumb little losses. So now we're seeing something different here. We're seeing some selling at the high right here. So maybe we needed to trap some more people trying to sell this at the low, and now people are selling it from at the high. Maybe this could lead to a breakout of this area right here to that upside move that we wanted. I'm not back in it though. Yeah, we had this little thing. We saw some nice buying here, wanted to see that breakout. We kind of did a little pump fake, dropped back below those lows, but we still didn't break that key area right there around 69. So it's still a valid setup. It's just a little tricky to trade, especially if you're trying to get a really tight entry and tight stop loss. It may be a situation that you kind of have to wait for more confirmation and trade it with smaller size with a wider stop loss. But given that my target is not that far away, it's harder to do that. So now we're seeing some stronger buying above this level. Let's see if we can pull back one more time, again, back towards that 73 to 69 area. If I see a nice little lower volume, sharp little pullback here, then I might want to get in it again now that we're seeing this large buying on the highs. If we see a nice, sharp, quick little lower volume pullback and I see some large absorption and buying hit it, then that would be another entry opportunity. But we might not get it, and now this might break out without getting another good entry. It's tricky to trade this for sure. I mean, I'm glad I didn't take a loss, but I wish I was still in this because, we never broke below that 69 level. Now we're 10 points higher. I might have moved, maybe I moved my stop loss a little too early, but just based on what I saw with this fake out and then drop back down, I wasn't super comfortable with that. And I didn't see a lot of significance to get a good reentry down here back at 69s. But I do like that we kind of consolidated this bit and now we're breaking out. If I see another pullback into here with good absorption and good buying, let me try to mark this. No, hang on. Yeah, if we see this pullback get defended pretty strongly now, there's a lot of large sell order lots popping up here around 75, 77, 400 lots, 400 lots. So to me, and that's kind of moving the market higher. To me, that looks like a passive buyer absorbing the selling now, trying to break this thing to the upside. So if I see those orders pop up again on a sharp little pullback, then I'll probably look to jump in this thing long again. Here we go. This is kind of the equilibrium here around like the 72 of this. Didn't really see any significant orders or anything pop up there on that pullback. So I'm still watching it. a lot of small bubbles here on this pullback, which is what I want to see. See if I can get a fill here. Nice little pullback here. Let's see if we see any large orders buy it to defend this. Back at that 72 level where those orders were popping up. 100 lot, 131 here. It's against just kind of stalling here. $200 lot at 71. 220 delta at 71. The problem is like now it's kind of doing the same thing where we're just kind of seeing that absorption and selling building, but then not really getting aggressive buying after. There's kind of a lot of selling building here now. $300 lots, 300 lots. So we're seeing the absorption. It's not dropping, but there's a lot of selling kind of building here, which you can see right here on Bookmap. I want to take it long, but just seeing a lot of selling building here. And again, we had another third pop higher that didn't sustain too. But I did like this larger buying up here. It's just kind of tricky, guys. Like I like the break and retest over 69, which is holding. But all right, let's see here. Do we get some nice buying that's going to trap these sellers at this low? All right, I got filled here at 72. It's probably my last try on this. Now my stop loss is under 69. I might even just pull my stop loss up already if this doesn't actually move. I don't want this to be another little fake out here. Like I want to see some strong buying step in pretty much right away. Like it can't, if it breaks these 69s, then this is kind of effed. So I'm gonna pull my stop loss up here. Really need to see this not be a fake out and see some strong buying step in and get over these highs above 79, 80 now. Otherwise, this is going to be a second break even out here. I'm still in the trade. I'm saying if this doesn't sustain this pop here, I'm going to be out for break even a second time. We saw that large, we have 330 lot seller at 71.50, and that's what I was kind of basing this on. I got filled at 72, and I don't want to see that break under that now. I want to see an aggressive pop here. So I literally have like a 2 or 3 tick stop loss here. Literally less than a point risk now. We're seeing that nice buying volume coming in, but this has got to break above this now. If it doesn't break above this now, then that could be a support turned resistance if we break down under that 69s. Nice aggressive buying here. That's a good sign. I'm not comfortable though. I want to see it actually strongly break above the 79 and 80 level. In fact, I might cover half if we get another pop up there at the top of this, because it's such a small little scalp. 72s, I have, break even risk. It was less than a point risk. So if we get a nice strong little pop up here, can just cover half for a little wallet pattern and see. I'll just let it run and see if we get 72, 77. There, just filled me at 77. So I took 5 points on half that just because of how ugly and choppy this is. So I mean, I took a 5-point little wallet pattern on half size, and my stop loss is break even. So we'll let this half size run and see if it wants to break out above 80. Otherwise, I might just wrap it up here because this is a super choppy first hour, and we have FOMC this week. Take a little 5-point. So it's $500. It's nothing crazy, but it was literally like a 3-tick risk. So not good to see this little fake out and then dump back down. Is it going to stop me? Probably. Yep, I'm out for break even on that second half. It's pretty, I'm going to sit out of this now. I'm not going to try this level again. It's just too choppy. I took a little 5-point wallet pattern there, but I mean, I like how this 69's holding, but it's pretty ugly. We're seeing this nice strong buying come in, and then it just goes nowhere and comes straight back down. So be better to just sit out until later in the day if something good sets up, or just call it a day, because we're still, just look at the 2-minute chart. We're super, super choppy this whole opening range so far. This level's still reacting here. Watch it go break out now after it came back one more time to take my second half out for break even there. That would be super typical. But I wish I could show you guys a picture of my footprint chart. I'm not going to throw it up here because my account numbers and everything are on here, but literally it's just like a horizontal bar. Like price has just gone nowhere. It's just, there's a lot of orders, 200 lots, 300 lots, 400 lots, but it's just a straight sideways bar. Like that doesn't look good. So I'm going to wait to get out of this range and see what happens. I haven't checked on the chat in a second. Yeah, I like the setup for absorption followed by aggressive buying. And we saw the nice absorption, but the aggressive buying just got stuffed each time and came right back down. So I haven't looked at other markets, but it might be kind of a mixed bag right now and just not giving good movement. Where did I get the 69 level from? You can see it on a 4-hour or a 6-hour. It was a nice base and then rally from Friday. But it became less awesome of a level because we pulled back after the Sunday open, and now since between 2 a.m. until now, this morning, we've just been chopping up and down, and now that's like dead middle of the range. The market's just kind of oscillating with that level being the middle of the range. It's my reminder. I've not broken my rules. I took a 5-point little wallet pattern, and I closed out the second half for break even again. So just a very choppy morning on a Monday on a FOMC rate decision week, which is highly typical, not unusual at all. It's the first hour. I want it to be ideally already done by like 10:15 a.m. Catch a nice move after the news. And we're still had those good high impact news events, and we're still just chopping up and down in the range. So it's almost time to walk away. Come back another day. Tomorrow's trade deficit news. I wasn't tracking that, but thank you. Let me look that up. Trade balance. Good point. That's not something I typically watch, but that is a good, that is a super high importance thing in the news right now with Trump and the tariffs and everything. Good point. Who brought that up? Mind Gal. Good point. Yeah, that's probably one of the most significant news impacts in the news. Last year, it was all about FOMC rate decisions. What's the market's going to do? Inflation, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of subsided, I'd say, a little bit this year. Now it's all trade deficit, tariffs, and all that kind of stuff with Trump going on. So very good catch there. I wasn't really paying attention to that one. Should have been. Yeah, so that's going to be a super important one probably for ahead of Wednesday's rate decision. I don't know how highly correlated those will be. The trade deficit may give insight into where we are as far as all the tariffs that Trump has going on. Again, I don't trade based on fundamentals or anything. It's purely price action and order flow, but it's good to be aware of those things because what we're seeing right now is the market is obviously waiting for something and just kind of consolidating. So could be waiting for that. Could be waiting for FOMC rate decision. I'm all like, I've in the past, I'm trading it and watching it, but literally guys, for a long time in the past, I literally took the whole week off for FOMC rate decisions because it's just like low volume and choppy. And then you get a huge news moves that are very volatile and almost impossible to trade. And then it goes back to like thin and choppy and unpredictable. So for my system and how I trade in the past, I've very much like tried to reduce my frequency or just not even trade. Now I will look and watch it, but I'm patient and hesitant to jump into a whole lot of trades, and especially on the FOMC rate decision weeks. And that also goes for NFP. Like the two that I always mark on my calendar, like star, watch out for price action this week is NFP weeks and FOMC rate decision weeks, which we've had back to back now. Last week I had a profitable week, made a good amount of money, but it was an NFP week and I was super cautious. I had that in mind. So my mindset in those weeks is not like trying to swing for home runs. My mindset in that price action in those weeks is almost like a batter in baseball with 2 strikes, and I'm trying to catch some quick base hits and get the fuck out. You know, I'm trying to shorten my swing, be fast to get in and out, catch a piece and get out. I'm not trying to be greedy and catch a large crazy move. I'm not trying to catch a news move. I'm not trying to, overdo myself and get chopped up. Just be cautious, be patient, take a quick hit and get the fuck out. That's like I call it my 2-strike approach on like high impact news times. And that's the opposite of what a lot of people do. A lot of people on these, high impact news events where there's a ton of volatility and the market might move a ton, a lot of people want to size up and they want to freaking, hit a massive win that's going to change their life, in a day, in a week. And I promise you, 99% of people blow their accounts on those weeks. So you want to know those things about yourself and about your system and about, the market conditions, and almost do the opposite of what feels like impulsive and natural and what most traders do, because most traders are not profitable. All right, so, that would have been my stop loss here. We're dipping under those 69s again, just chopping in this range. So that's why I kind of identified that in the moment, and that's why I scaled out of that for 5 points and then protected myself. So twice, I took a break even exit, and then I took a 5-point scalp, and then another break even exit. I could have had 2 full stops now, and that would have sucked. So see how I'm kind of like identifying what's going on and managing my risk because of that. The other approach that you could have if you liked this level and you liked this range would be to just size down and give the trade more room to breathe, which may be the more appropriate way. We'll see how this develops. That may actually be the better way to trade this. And if that is, then maybe I missed it this time, but I'll adjust my approach for the next setup due to those conditions. Maybe I'll get a little bit more positioned with smaller size and give it more time and breathing room. But it's Monday. We're just kind of evaluating and developing how the action is going this day, this week. So I'm going to err on the side of being very defensive. I'm green on the day instead of taking 2 full stop losses. So yeah, I worked in tech, Eric, for over 10 years now. Right now, I do not have another tech job. I'm just trading. But I mean, it's a great field to be in, especially if you can get remote, because futures trade outside of market hours. So I was able, like when I was working, I was able to find little time gaps where I could put 30 minutes into trading or something, outside of normal work hours, because the futures market trades like 23 hours a day. So it's a great market if you are wanting to trade. I know Forex is like that too, but to me, trading futures is a lot more professional endeavor than Forex. I know there's a lot of shenanigans with Forex. There's interbank markets, so there's no consolidated exchange, so you can't really see the order flow. And you can deal with a lot of slippage and stuff. I like how precise and predictable my risk is with futures. Look at that. We dipped. I think I said that when I was watching this. I said we might need one more dip under this range to sweep it out and bounce. And that's exactly what freaking happened. We dipped under those 69s, took out all this liquidity. This is a setup that I actually trade usually in consolidation. Took out all the liquidity and then instantly ship, and look at all this buying coming in after it took out all that liquidity below that low. So you literally consolidated, fake out, rally. This was the direction that we were looking for trade to the upside. We just consolidated, faked out this low. So that's a perfect consolidate, fake out, and rally setup. I didn't take it. But I managed my risk. I'm green. Nothing, crazy. But like, this is what I'm talking about. Like each time so far, we've punched out a high, we've punched out a low, and then just completely lacked any kind of size and momentum outside of that, which is typical of a consolidation range. Which is why when I see that, I usually look for, a quick fake out and scalp targeting back into the high of that range, which worked out perfectly here. We had a fake out right at this VWAP level 2, got bought, and then we went and took out the high of that little consolidation range. So that was a great setup. But I didn't take it. If we can hold above these highs and break out and pull back and hold, then that's a nice like breakout of consolidation range setup, and we could target Friday's highs, 5,700 to 5,720s, close to highs. Took the sweep, use for sells, took what I got. Nice. Yeah, maybe we get a break and retest set up here. There's a lot more continuation volume coming in up here now. but I'd probably have to look for a pullback now, trade it with smaller size, and we could target 5,700 to 5,720, which is Friday's close to Friday's highs. Let's see if we get a retest of this consolidation area now. We've had good amount of buying up here now. So let's see 79 to 76. See if we get a nice little pullback. It might just go straight up now. Never a good opportunity for a break and retest. It just did the fake out of consolidation and then rally. So if I was smaller size and I was positioned in here, then I could have given it a wider stop loss, maybe under like 65s. And then I'd still be in this trade and it would have worked out good. So that was a mistake. Or it was just not the trade that I was looking to trade right at the moment. A lot of good breakout volume here. Let's see if we can get a pullback towards 79.80 to get in for a break and retest and target 5,700 to 5,720. A lot of buying here. A lot of buying. So here's some selling coming in. See if it wants to be a fake out or if it wants to be a breakout and retest and hold outside of this consolidation range now. See if we can hold these 79s. Where'd this trade to? 80. Let's see if this holds. Bulls definitely want to see continuation here, not a fake out above that high. All right, breaking out. May go break even here in a second. I got filled at 82.75, but I want to see this continue pretty fast here. I want to see a break and retest one time and continue to rally. There's my reminder. Thank you for startling the shit out of me, as that always does. Yeah, I don't love how this is once again just stalling. There's just not any good momentum. So getting ready to cut this. Not what you really want to see on a break and retest to the upside, how it just stalls. You want to catch some momentum on a break and retest, but maybe it will grind higher. We'll see. Sorry, going quiet here. I'm just focused in here, watching what happens. You see what you want, fake out versus breakout. Do you wait to play the continuation once that is clarified? Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm in long from 82 in a couple ticks, but I'm getting ready to probably close this here because we're kind of rejecting what I initially confirmed here, which is a break on large volume and then a pullback that held right here. And now we're just stalling sideways again. Not a lot of good momentum to be in on. Yeah, we had a nice breakout above that high that pulled back and held, which I liked. But once again, just kind of stalling after my entry, which is like, this is like the third time now I've got in for a nice little momentum move and it just stalled sideways. The thing is, like, I've been trying to kind of catch a break and retest on these levels that I've been watching, and then the break and retest has turned into a sideways chop, and then it kind of fakes out and then continues. So it's kind of difficult to catch for the trade setup that I'm trying to use on it, and that's made it a little tricky. So like I'm getting the move in the direction at the levels that I want, but I'm just not timing it well with the setup method that I'm using to get in on it. But you know, a couple break evens and I'm still green on the day. So but like I said earlier, you can either, like, once you identify that, you can try to look for that consolidation and break and fake out to take it on a scalp, or you can try to get in at a good spot with smaller size and leave it on with a more breathing room, which would have been the better way to trade it initially this morning. But by the time I identified that, it was already, like, I was already out for break even and I wasn't positioned for the trade well. I guess I could have scaled out in a little bit of profit. Actually, that probably would have been the better way to trade this, guys. This morning on my first trade, when I scaled out for 5 points, I probably should have adjusted my methodology of how I trade that and widened my stop, and I'd still be in this, and it would have been a nice trade. But I was in it sized for a scalp and a quick move, and that didn't happen, and then I closed the other half for break even because I lost confidence in the setup. But I think the better way that I could have managed that this morning on that long that you guys saw from, what was it, like 16 off that, above that 69 level, would have been like, yeah, I scaled out of my scalp size and I could have left on that smaller size. And instead of moving my stop loss to break even, I could have just left the widened stop, especially since I padded the trade already with the 5 points, and then kind of turned that into more of a positioned trade. But I didn't really think about that in the moment. I just thought the setup and the way that I was trying to trade this wasn't working. But the direction has worked and the level has worked. It's just the entry method that I used for it didn't work. Or at least it didn't work in the time frame that I was looking for it to work and how I managed the risk for it. Does that all make sense? Thursday had a large sell order, 544 at 56.82. Yeah, I have 56. I don't have that. I didn't watch the session. I closed out Friday morning early and walked away. I had a lot of other stuff to do to get ready for the party this weekend that I had. And so I didn't watch price action all day on Friday, but I could go back and look. But I did have 56.80 and a half marked as a key level, which was that overnight high, which is near the same level. See, maybe it just needs another good pullback here to kind of trap some more sellers and then grind higher again. We'll see if that happens, or if we just pull back pretty aggressively back into the middle of this range. This would be kind of a fake out scenario. But what's developing on the 2-minute chart right here is something that I normally like to see, which is just a bit of like upward consolidation and then a nice violent little pullback to kind of sweep that out. So I do like that, how that's setting up right now. There we go. For sure going break even risk here now. We broke out strong above that high. Still in this from like 82 and a half. Definitely want to see this get a nice pump now. Breaking out of that high, going for that 5,700 level. Matter of fact, might cut a piece off here again, just in case it doesn't. See if this slows down or if this just steams. Yeah, cut a piece off here at 89 again. So another 6.5 points. I don't want to see this fake out the high again and wick all the way back down to my entry now. That would be ugly. Definitely want to see this move with some momentum towards 5,700 now. If we sweep that high with that large volume and then wick all the way back down towards my entry around 82, ugh, that is some nasty price action. Each time though, this has kind of happened. We consolidated, then we broke out that high, and it's like, here's the momentum. Now we can, rally off this, and then it just goes sideways after each nice little pump, which is like almost will boil your blood. Frustrating to watch, especially if you're like a very quick short-term scalper like me. But now I'm up over 10 points now. So like I've been wrong on my timing, but I've been right on my risk management, not letting a trade go against me, scaling out when I see that like choppy consolidation. So I had 2 break evens and now I'm up over 10 points on 2 scale outs. And now I'm just holding free money. So risk management is number 1. Here we go. We're just riding now. So if we can go take out 5,700, 5,720, that's great. If we don't, and this come back and stops me out, you know, I'm up 10 points. I was trading 4 minis earlier. I'm in 2 now, Joanna. So either way, this I'm done today after this trade. So we'll watch it. We'll see if we go take out 5,700. That'd be awesome. That'd be a bigger winning day. But if we come back and break me out even again, then I'm gonna walk away Monday. You know, it's a green day anyway. So this is kind of what you can do and have a little bit more, you know, what's the word? Relaxed approach when you just like manage your risk well and then just let winners run. Don't let trades go against you. Don't get emotional about, you know, taking a break evens, taking some small losses. It just happens. Like once again, here we are stalling after that breaking out. We saw some nice large orders. Thought we were going to go, you know, take out 82 and 68 key going forward. Yeah, this morning already before the market even opened, I had 56.80 marked as a key level and 56.69 marked as a key level. And that's kind of adjusted a little bit what we've seen. You just said 82 and 68. Yeah, like a point or 2 off from the same levels I've been watching since the pre-market this morning. Really want to see this continue up here. We just took out the last little swing high at 89 that occurred last night after the market opened. I really don't see much else up here. We had that nice selling dump when the market opened last night. I don't see much to stop us from going and taking out those sellers. Like, I don't see much stopping us from retesting 5,700 up to 5,710, maybe even if it gets really juicy from buyers, 5,720, but at least 5,700. Come on. But each time we've pushed up higher, it's just kind of stalled and gone flat, which is annoying as heck. Some volatility coming in here. I don't know what's going on. You do this daily, Joanna? No, just on Mondays right now. Appreciate your bar by bar thoughts. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it helps you. Like, you know, I deal with the same things that you guys deal with, like the frustrations of trades going to break even, you know, trying to read, you know, is price action confirming or denying my thesis and ideas? But it is, especially doing it in front of an audience, is difficult, more difficult than my usual day trading. But we're green today regardless, and you know, I'm going to walk away after this trade regardless. So if this makes me sit here forever, then I might go ahead and end this so I can go get some water and stuff, and then you know, I'll let you guys know how this plays out, or we're all going to see the price action of how this plays out, if it works out or not. But either way, you know, got 10 points today, and so a couple scale outs and a couple break evens. So nothing crazy, but managed risk. Always manage risk. That is the number one. If you learn anything from today, stay patient, manage risk. Stay patient, manage risk. Yeah. But man, this thing is really making you stay patient with a winner today. It's not in a hurry to get there. Market interval timer. Right now, I kind of adjust my time period, but I told everybody earlier, this is like just a little desk timer that I use. I reset it every 15 minutes, and it's just a reminder for me to follow my trading rules, check my emotions, and make sure, I'm not trading with emotions and I'm in check. Kind of pulls my focus out from what I'm doing for just a second and gives me the opportunity to reset before I take a dumb trade or break my trading rules. It's a forced reminder to break my focus from trading and think about, am I following my trading rules? Am I taking good trades? And are emotions impacting me? And if they are, then I need to walk away. Yeah. Man, just a whole bunch of absorption and just not going anywhere here at these 90s. Like I just want to, about ready to just close it right here for whatever I'm up from the 82s. Every time I've had a trade start to go in my direction this morning, it's just gone freaking sideways. Super annoying, but it's not surprising. I told myself to expect this morning. It's Monday, 1. 2, we have FOMC rate decision this week, so a lot of people are sitting out. So I shouldn't be annoyed at all. I'm managing my risk tightly and being smart like this because I literally expected this to happen today. And there's no reason for me to feel any kind of way about it because it's doing exactly what I expected it to do. Just choppy and slow and consult in the middle of a consolidation range. I fooled myself into thinking, once we broke out of that range, we'd see some good momentum and volatility step in to drive this thing up. And it's gone up, but it's just slowly grinding there and chopping sideways along the way. So my only expectation is that the market will not do exactly what I want it to do when I want it to do it. That's my only expectation every day. And that's why I manage risk. Still sitting here watching for this to break out to 5,700. Just 10 points away. I'm up almost 10 points now on this. So I'm almost ready to close it and walk away, but I'm staying patient. I'll just be annoyed if it comes and breaks me out even again. But I'll walk away at that point. It's just a situation where my orders are set and I'm just like, I could walk away from my computer right now if I wasn't already, and I would probably be less emotional about this if I did do that because my orders are set. And if I wasn't doing this live stream, I'd probably just walk away right now and just be like, F this, whatever happens, happens. I'm already green, orders are set. I'm in the runner. It's out of my control right now. Does it want to pay me a little bit more or does it want to stop me out and just be a small green day? Not out of my control. What motivated me to show up every morning? I just loved trying to figure out the markets and trying to understand how things work in the markets and read the price action. And there we go. What the heck is going on? I really enjoyed just trying to read the price action and try to get better every day. It was like an opportunity to like compete at something and try to really get better. I traded small size. And so I really enjoyed the learning aspect of it and figuring things out and trying to get better. So that was probably the big thing, the self-improvement aspect of it. What news was that? I wasn't really paying attention to that as a news piece. I don't know what news that was. It's 11 a.m. I wasn't tracking some news, but maybe I'm filtering out lower impact news if it was a lower impact news piece. Loan officer survey. I wasn't really tracking that as important news today. Yeah, not easy price action to trade, guys. USA rejected Japan tariff. Huge positive delta. Thank you, Rad. So, didn't know about that, but whatever. To me, it still like looks like the price action of absorption from sellers getting absorbed by passive buyers. I'm still seeing large negative deltas popping up, and we're not getting a ton of continuation each time. So I see, what is this, 800 lots here at 88, and then 200 lots at, yeah, 800 lots at 88, another 200 lot at 85. So there's like so much selling building, but then it's just not going anywhere. So like if I'm thinking about that, like if I keep seeing selling building and it's just not going anywhere and going higher, then there has to be a passive buyer on the other end of that just absorbing each time, right? But the problem is that that's just half the equation, and I need to see strong, aggressive buyers step in to continue to drive price, because just the absorption that we're seeing is good. It's holding the pullbacks, but unless aggressive buying steps in to drive the market higher, we're just kind of stalling, and that's what's been going on, making it slow and annoying. All right, guys. Does anybody want to keep watching this thing grind? How would aggressive buyers look versus a fake out? Price continues to move up with that aggressive buying, which we are. It's kind of mixed right now because we're seeing the absorption on pullbacks. We are seeing some aggressive buying come in, but then it just kind of doesn't continue coming in. It kind of falters and stalls. So it's like we get a nice little surge of aggressive buying. I don't really see absorption on the upside. It just kind of runs out of aggressive buying. And then on the pullbacks here, we're seeing absorption that stalls the downside moves. So basically, it's a little bit of running out of steam on both sides, and it's just kind of grinding higher, which is normal. Like that, there's many days where that happens. It's annoying to watch if you're a quick day trader like me, and it's a good time to just probably walk away. It's very annoying to try to like day trade and scalp this kind of price action. In fact, you'll probably end up getting chopped up and take a lot of losses and bad entries because you're chasing it each time. Each time you see some momentum coming in, you're like, oh yeah, this is the one, let's go scalp, and then sideways, and then trickles back, and then you stop out, and then the same thing happens again and again. So it's difficult to probably try and scalp quick day trades in these conditions. All right, guys, my orders are set. I'm probably going to close this up. You guys know where I'm in at. You guys know my targets, you know, my break-even risk. I'm already green on the day, so this will be the last trade regardless of the outcome. Is there anything you guys want me to answer, questions or anything before walk away? Yeah, you're welcome, Joanna. Gonna probably wrap this up and step away, and I got my orders set on this runner, and we'll just see what happens. Yep, you're welcome, Raz. Anybody else have any questions that you want me to go through before I shut this down? We are still doing the same thing we've seen all morning. The levels have worked. The price action has just been a little tricky, a little slow, a little grindy, which is very typical on a Monday before higher impact news later in the week. Not seeing any other questions, so I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thanks everyone for joining. Probably a higher amount of people join this week. That's awesome. If you guys have any questions, I always try to get to as many people in my DMs as possible, try to answer people's questions, try to help you out with your trading. I'm trading full-time anyway, so I'm just kind of sharing the stuff that I'm already doing anyway. So I'm not doing this for Instagram or for like I'm doing this anyway. So I'm just kind of sharing what I'm doing. You're welcome, Brandon. Should do this live on YouTube more often. Cheers. Yeah, I am, but I'm also trying to make money from trading. So this is not bad, but it is a distraction for me. So I'm trying to slowly build into it. I just do it on Mondays right now. But I'll post this recap if anybody wants to, like, missed anything earlier and you just want to see how we went through the market analysis and kind of the plan for the day and then how it played out. I'll share the live stream recording on YouTube. So if anybody joined late and wants to see how we went through that this morning, you're welcome to. But other than that, have a good week, everyone. Don't take dumb trades. Follow your rules. Follow your system. Make good plans and just execute it. But with that, have a good day, everybody. I'm gonna step out of here for a bit. Peace.